So how do you go from 0 to 50 in a little over a year in the note business? Stay tuned. Well, welcome to the first edition of Note School TV for 2022. Guys, we have an amazing year of content out there for you, and you will not want to miss an episode of our 2022 schedule. Guys, we hope that you watched the 2021 wrap up, and Eddie and I spent about 35-40 minutes talking about our, what we thought was going to happen in the business this year, and I think we hit it pretty close. We'll see how it plays out. So again, we go live every Wednesday at 11:05 Central Time. And it is our goal to each week provide you with amazing, informative news and amazing guests that are out there knocking it literally out of the park in the note business. So if you like the content that you see weekly on Note School TV, just go ahead and like on your screen there, and also subscribe. Right? You'll want to subscribe so that you will not miss an episode of Note School TV. And also remember to hit that bell notification, right? No, go ahead and hit it right now, right? Ha ha. Go ahead and hit that bell notification so that you will be notified prior to us going live on each Wednesday at 11:05 Central Time. So this week, we have a couple of amazing guests. Again, I'll get to them in just a minute. But also, if you want to know more about what we do at Note School and what we talk about in our one-day class, guys, simply go in and go to noteschool.com/TV. Again, noteschool.com/TV. And you can request more information. You can ask questions there. But please stay connected with us throughout this year, because let me tell you something. Eddie and I talk a lot about what the opportunities are this year, and they will be plenty. So guys, it is that time again for the news. And now the news. So guys, this article comes from the M Report. And as a lot of the articles we do and we look at each week, and this the study that was just released at the end of the year says affordability falls to a 13-year low. And one of the things that really kind of shocking for me is that when I look at a $69,347 actual or average household income, and you've got home buying power of $472,000, that's a little bit concerning to me. I'm not a prognosticator of any kind of gloom, but that's pretty interesting. Are we going down that road again? So again, the affordability, as far as with the interest rates going up and home prices going up, it is a challenge out there. And regionally, the 5 markets with the greatest year-over-year decline in affordability, obviously number 1 is Phoenix at 33%, Charlotte, North Carolina at 32%, Tampa at almost 31%, Jacksonville, Florida at 29.3%, and Memphis, Tennessee at 27%. So that's just the top 5. So it is a challenge these days for folks that are trying to enter the market. So is the home buying well running dry? And this is an article in M Report as well, but this graph is from Redfin, and Redfin has just reported that the 4-week period ending December 19th, the median home price in the U.S. rose to $360,500, which is 15% year over year home price increase. And you can see the graph there from 2019 to 2021. And in a sign that the inventory remains an issue for the market, active listings, the number of homes that are for sale in any marketplace at any point during the period fell 26% year over year for an all-time low. And it is down 45% since January or February of 2019. So, guys, that is the news. That is where we are. And I like to end the news sessions each week by simply saying that, guys, I think that we think at Note School that there's never been a better time for creative financing in the real estate market today, and adding that to your tool belt, right? So now I am going to bring on our fearless leader and our chief visionary officer, Mr. Eddie Speed.
Good morning, Joe. How are you?
Good morning. I am doing pretty good. A little bit under the weather, but hey, it is what it is, and we move forward, don't we?
We do. Happy New Year to you.
Absolutely.
And I hope everybody is doing great. We have a great story today, Joe.
We do.
With a couple of ladies. I'm going to let you introduce them. And the reason I'm going to do that is because you have just really built a special bond with them. I don't think any person in Note School has tracked their success as long and as well as you have. And I don't want to take that from you. So I want you to bring them on. We'll let you slip out as we get into the interview, but I want you to do the intro on this for me.
Very good. So our guest today is Lois and Cindy, right? Cindy Sterling and Lois Meyer. And you know what, guys? They are two amazing ladies, and let's bring them on. So that everybody can meet them and see their smiling faces. They are world travelers now, right? And Eddie, you hit the nail right on the head. I love these guys because we talk at Note School all the time about the person that makes an amazing Note School student, right? And these guys, they came to a class, they did their homework, they were coachable, and they became a success, right? A huge success. And I'm not going to take anything away from you talking about what an award they just received a little bit ago, but at Note Expo back in November. But I applaud these ladies, and I love you both. So, Eddie.
Happy New Year. Thanks, Joe.
Yes.
Joe talks about you ladies so much. I just can't say. I had to let him introduce you, because I'm just saying you've welded an impression on Joe of, and that is, I think you ladies started out, and you really started out with a clarity of vision. And we have a lot of people right now that really are where you are. They're just behind where you are. Right. I remember very distinctly you're showing up at a class. This was before the virus.
Yes.
And
just barely.
Yeah. And you guys showed up at a class, and you're very studious, and you made really good notes, and you're very quiet, but you asked some good quiet questions. And that it was really about a mission you were on. Mm-hmm. And I think your story is so impressive because while you both have had very successful corporate jobs,
yes,
you got out there every weekend and worked on rent houses for years.
Yes.
Didn't you?
We did.
And you were the HG, there's an old country song, I was country before country was cool, old Barbara Mandrell song back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Well, you were HGTV people before HGTV was cool.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, we had good chuckles watching the shows because it was nothing like reality.
You know, I couldn't say more about that. I mean, I've met so many people that, got into a few rentals and thought it was going to be fun and found out it was a lot of work. But you made the rentals work. It was just
Yes.
you were at a point, you were at a lifestyle, let's call it burnout.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you said, we're exiting these things. And you create a lot of owner finance notes on your own properties, which is what I think a lot of landlords really should consider doing today.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You could defer your taxes. It's a very cool trick. We're not going to make that the focus of today, but you guys have done that well.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then you decided, now once again, it's confusing, right? Because you ladies you've been deep involved in note school. You've been deep involved in market conditions, and you've seen this stuff. And people say, why would you sell when the trees are going to grow to the sky? Right. And I guess there's a point that what people say is when you have a lot of money made, there's a point when you take money off the table.
Yes.
Because you don't know what the future holds.
Right.
And I think that's kind of what you did.
Well, it made sense for us at this point in our life to get into something that was more passive, because we didn't go into rentals blindly. We knew that it was a lot of work. We knew that we would make money off the sale, not holding the rentals.
Not the rental.
Yes. So we didn't go into this with, oh my goodness, we're going to make, millions of dollars by holding these rentals and it'll be passive income. So we did not have that illusion of rentals, but we did buy very strategically in areas that were very depressed and blighted. And we were able to purchase properties, turn them, keep them as rentals until the market was right. So we were very fortunate in that we made the decision to get out of rentals. And then last year's market was just crazy good. And so we were able to get rid of, I mean, we were able to sell 75, 80% of our holdings during an up market. So the stars just aligned for us, and we feel very fortunate to have found notes when we did, and then to decide to sell when we did. So we're feeling very, very fortunate.
So we go back to Joe's headline. How do you go from 0 to 50, right?
Yeah, it was, we didn't have a plan to by the way, just to give points of reference, this next month, February, will be 2 years when we joined Note School. But we were actually introduced to Note School in very late 2018. I think it was December of 2018. And we went to 2 of your 3-day classes. In fact, I think, Joe, we went to the very first class that you were assisting with, I think, if I remember serves me. And that's probably one of the reasons why we connected, because we kind of were there on your first adventure as well. But we walked away from those 2 classes and we dove into learning as much as we could before joining, because we knew that once we joined, we were going to be active. We were going to jump in and do the notes. And so we studied, read every book Eddie had out there. We did every blog that was published, every video that was publicly available. And then we came back and joined. And once we joined, we knew of course, COVID hit right at the same time, which made it a little challenging because we didn't get the titanium visit that we were hoping to have. But you guys helped us through that. And how we got from 0 to 49 notes was literally just jumping in. And we did it with the basics, just the very basic level of knowledge that we could come up with.
And so you were you had a friend that was a Note School member, right? And
acquaintance. Yeah, we were introduced to someone. Yes.
Yeah.
And we actually bought our first note from them. They brokered it to us because we wanted to see, okay, like what happens after you buy one. And so that was our initial toe in. But yeah, once we joined, we knew that at our age, we needed to ramp up quickly. And so we just started buying notes like we knew what we were doing.
Well, and then, so you guys really, you just took that knowledge and you just expanded that and dove in, like you said, and you didn't buy your first note. You were at class in February of 2019, and then you hit the road in, or was it 2020? It was 2020.
We joined, and we bought our first note at the end of May
of 2020.
Because we were able to then attend all the classes and listen to you guys teach us. And so we were evaluating notes as we went through those first few months. And we just said, okay, we freed up money. We needed a bit more time to free up some money. And so we just jumped in and we literally just said, we have to do this and we have to do it quickly. And quite frankly, we started talking to friends and family, and we were able to help them invest some money in our model.
Yeah.
And so we were able to accelerate it even faster. So it built on itself. We were not able to do it strictly by our cash in the bank or our selling our properties. We have investors. I think it's 7 or 8 investors at this point.
I think 8 investors,
and so that too.
Yeah, you guys did a lunch and learn for us at Note Expo this year, and the room was standing room only, right? And everybody was taking notes, right? And about how to raise capital. And you guys, it was a compelling, story, and that's part of what we do. And it's just, Eddie, it's just having a conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think you ladies exemplify, what we think. I mean, you're smart, you're articulate, but you're not slick.
Yeah.
Right. No. Slick doesn't get money.
No.
Get money. It really is sincerity.
Yes.
There's one single thing I would say is the most common thread with people getting money or getting capital. It's the sincerity, and you have that. And once again, I think the other thing is we say it all the time, right? It doesn't matter what we failed at or we've been successful at. There's a chapter in our life when you ladies decided you were going forward, you were moving out of the rentals because it was just simply too much work, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you couldn't go have the lifestyle you want and go do the cool things you've done, which is really cool that you've done it.
Mm-hmm.
And unless you had something that was really pretty much a passive type business.
Yes.
So you fired up the machine, you sold some of your properties and offered owner financing. You had other properties you thought, hey, this isn't a great owner finance candidate.
Mm-hmm.
So you sold them for cash, and the market was very willing to do that. And then you fired up the machine. You said, we're just going to go buy notes on good properties that the people are going to pay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? So I want to talk about that. Like, what was your selection process? What were you looking for?
Yeah, I think everybody has their unique things that are important to them. One of it for us is it's very simple. We don't look for a high payment or a high investment amount or a particular zip code. We don't look for any of that. But one of our requirements is we want the taxes and insurance escrowed.
Yeah.
Because that for us is important. We want to make sure that issue is sort of off the table.
Right.
Particularly if anything does happen to go south, which, we've had a small number, 7% of our notes have gone south. That's going to happen. It's never going to be zero. But we also wanted to make sure that we didn't have a huge issue with taxes hanging over. So that's probably the primary thing that we look for. Is it escrowed and taxed? And then we look at the last 18 months of payments. We don't look at if it's a 12-year-old note. We don't look at 12 years. We look at the last 18 months. Things are different. If it's a little squishy in those 18 months, we kind of look pre-COVID to see if it's perhaps pandemic related. But those, I would say, are the two big things that we look for.
And Eddie, we were shocked when we first started looking at notes, very first, because we realized that not everyone pays their mortgage payment between the 1st and the 5th of the month. I mean, like, what? how did people don't anyway? But then we kept drilling into our heads. Count the payments. Are they making 12 in a year or 11 in a year or something like that? And we're going, okay. So I think that was the kind of a funny thing for us, is that we have just grown up our lives. You just pay those bills.
Pay your bills on time.
And so that you have to kind of change your way of thinking, realizing that not everyone does that. You have to kind of keep a short leash, but you can't, if they don't pay it by the 5th or they pay it 2 months late, as long as they're getting it in, it's okay. So, so you gave us a lot of sage advice in looking at notes to know, it is a good note. Do they pay by the 5th every month? No, not really, but they do make their payments.
They're consistent.
Yeah, and I think your basics are key for us. Teaching the basics has been key.
Yes.
So let's talk about the basics. Joe, let's talk about where these ladies started and got the basics to get started. Mm-hmm. And that is, let's hear from our sponsor, Note School, about our one-day class. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Well, hello, everyone. It is Brian with the teaching team here at Note School, and I'm excited that I get to be the one to invite you to the upcoming Gold in Notes class. That's right. It is a one-day deeper dive class that we call Gold in Notes because of how valuable this time spent is. This is a full day that we really get to dig into the nitty-gritty, the whole world of creative financing, not just how to acquire more deals, how to get access to more capital, how to defer a lot of the taxes for us as well as for the sellers that we're talking to, and really learn how to create your own notes. And really, once you learn how to create your own notes, this is really where we spend an entire afternoon really pulling back the curtain on what the note business is, from wholesaling notes, buying and holding performing notes to really build your wealth. I'll even show you a strategy called partials, which is by far the best wealth building tool I've ever seen in the real estate space. And we're definitely going to spend some time talking about non-performing notes, which is by far the biggest opportunity in today's marketplace, solely because of the events that have happened over the past couple of years. This is when people are not paying their mortgages, and we're going to make a lot of big money from these bad debts, and we're going to help a lot of people get a second chance. It's an absolutely fantastic day. Come spend a day really dig in and discover a lot of this stuff so that you too can start building your wealth. It's a day meant to really be engaging. Bring your questions, bring your comments, bring your business problems, and we will see you there.
I say this often, ladies, and that is, we don't know what we don't know until we know it.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true. And I want to mention one thing. You guys mentioned that, you had a couple of notes that, that were paying, but then they went south. Now, let me ask you a question about it, because I know somebody out there is going, oh my gosh, right? Sometimes a note, were you able to work those out positively for your portfolio?
Absolutely. In fact, you could probably argue that when that happens, you get a boost. You get a little bit of a jump in the portfolio. You don't want, if it's sitting around 10%, I'm good with that on the performing side. But I think in in the cases, I think 2 of them, it actually boosted our portfolio a bit. Yeah. So yeah. And I think Note School has been tremendous, because we don't miss class. We've been in it 2 weeks now. And I think literally we can each count on one hand the number of times we're not on calls, not on the 4 calls, because we don't know what we don't know. And so we keep showing up as we figure there's more we don't know.
Yeah, we learn something all the time, because you have good case studies on there. You have people that are talking, and it may not be something that is resonates with us today, but next week that might be our situation too. So
that's why, and we have the little commercial for the one-day class, and people, they just have to show up. I tell them, just show up and be a sponge. Don't show up and say, I come to learn this, because then all of a sudden you guys are talking about, you got 7 or 8 family members and friends that have invested with you, and how does that work? And how do you help them deploy their money? And how can you make some money off of that? Because once again, you're working at the business. They're not working at the business. They're just passive. Yeah. But it's all of those things start morphing in your mind, and it leads you to, and as you said, it happens for us every day. Last night, we had our session last night, and we had a rather large note. And
Right.
we kind of draw our mind around doing a deal a certain way. And I approached it completely different. Now, I had our seasoned people on there last night, like you ladies, right? Pretty much everybody on there is pretty seasoned at this point. They're not just new. They didn't just enter note school, at the very beginner level. And I had them do a vote at the end, and 75% of them said they wouldn't have thought of how I structured that.
Sure.
So that's the thing, is that it's fun for us, for Joe and I, just to keep climbing, keep digging, keep showing a different angle. We've been doing this a long time. Joe and I've got about 70 years combined of doing this, and Joe's got 69 years and I got 1.
Oh, well, you know what? There was somebody, and I don't remember who it was, that said, biggest part of success is just showing up, right?
Yeah.
It is.
All right. Cool story. You ladies won. Note School gives an award for Investor of the Year, and you won Investor of the Year. And behind that story is that we tracked that you bought about 50 notes, right? And that was quite a journey. And I just wanted you to talk about that for a minute. And then I want to finish up talking about the real journey, which is what you're doing outside of buying notes.
Yes. So actually this last year, we bought 25 notes for our portfolios, which brought us to a total of, I think, 49 right now.
And you own or finance several houses yourself.
Yes,
we did. We did.
And so we made notes and bought notes. And again, our first month that we joined Note School, we bought 5 notes that month. And we were just like, well, let's just buy them. And we just figured it out. We were, I think, more knowledgeable and strategic this last year. We were able to pick up 25 notes. And, we've learned a lot. Every single note that we buy, we're learning something from it. And but we are not risk adverse, but we are not, we do not do risky things. And so we feel like Note School has given us a lot of basic information and advanced information that we're still trying to, wrap our minds around, but you're also there if we have a problem. And so that's given us the confidence that we needed to just jump out there and make it happen.
That's why I built it over 20 years ago, ladies.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's why I did it. I can figure out a lot of ways to do business with people once they have a base of knowledge.
Yes.
When they don't have a base of knowledge, it's difficult to be profitable for us and profitable for you guys.
Sure.
Think in terms of you guys live in the Houston area. Think in terms of turning a bunch of teenagers loose without driver's ed.
Right. Yeah. I think we have that in Houston.
You feel like you did get driver's ed. They didn't pass, right?
Yes, I think so.
But everybody gets the concept, right?
Yeah.
You got to have some training wheels to guide us to go do that. Otherwise, the learning curve's too long.
Yeah.
And when I started with a tremendous opportunity, but the guys that trained me, I didn't have a school. Right.
Yes.
And so it took me so much longer to eventually learn it. But the learning curve was so long, and Joe's learning curve was so long. And that's why we had a heart for trying to do it differently. So cool story. Now let's talk about the most important thing. And that is, what are you doing outside of buying notes?
Well, I'm still working. So we unfortunately, I got about 5 more left in me corporate wise. But we love to travel, and travel is our passion. And we've been to quite a few places, done quite a few things. We love adventure travel, and we love just cultural travel as well. But we've climbed Mount Kilimanjaro about 7 or 8 years ago. We did that, and we have trekked to Machu Picchu. But just recently, we got back from 2 weeks in the countries of Jordan and Egypt. So that's our passion, is we love to travel.
Took a 4-day cruise on the Nile, right?
We did.
Yeah.
We did as a part of that trip. Yeah, we did. Saw some amazing, stunning sights. We just, we love to. We think if more people traveled to more places, we'd realize we're all just one great big hodgepodge mess of a family. So
I probably have told you ladies this, but if I haven't, I should, and I should do it here because I want everybody to hear it. My father-in-law got me in this business in 1980. I was 20 years old, and my father-in-law sadly passed away when he was 59. He died of a heart attack, but he left a letter to me that it was attached to his will, and it was a letter to me. It was sort of an instruction of what his wishes were and kind of his well wishes for the family. Now, my father-in-law died almost 25 years ago. So I've had a lot of experiences in helping my mother-in-law and my wife and her sister progress in this family business.
mm-hmm.
And I don't remember everything the letter said. It was about 4 pages long, and it talked about, dividing up the guns and the paintings and the whatever, and just and the well-wishing of the family and stuff. But here's what I remember: one paragraph or one sentence in that letter, and I will never forget that. And that is, money spent on fond memories is never wasted.
Yeah. It's a great saying.
Yes.
It's a great saying.
So the thing is, you ladies have worked hard, but you're at a point now where you found something that is letting you do these things, right?
Yes.
And you could have just kept your rentals, or you could have sold them, or you could have done whatever. You could have done all of that. And we can debate about the timing and if it's perfect or if it's not perfect. But what the perfect timing is being able to go build fond memories.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's let me just say, from being around this business for 40 years, I've met a lot of people that get old, and quite honestly, their years grind on them on rentals, right? They just grind them because it's a lot to it. And it's, as you said, you didn't go into it foolishly, but you went into it, even if you know it's going to be tough. It's tougher some days than some people are prepared for. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely.
And just being able to position yourself and know that this has given you a different perspective. And I think this is why I think this is what lights Joe up. It's that you've executed well, not just the business that we've. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for being great students. But you've executed the other side, which is why you do all this, why it matters.
Yeah. Well, we couldn't have done it without Note School. I mean, you said it. You say in your classes that you want students who take action, and we went away and said we back. We need to be ready to take action, and so we made a decision to take action, and we jumped right in because we knew that you guys had us, and that's we would not be where we are because we wouldn't have gotten into this without Note School. You had a father-in-law, Joe. I'm not sure how you got into this business, but we have you, and that's the honest truth. We are very grateful to you two and to Note School. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. It's easy to look like you're smart in the training business when you have smart people that are willing to do what you say.
Right.
But so thank you. It makes a good effort on both sides, and that's clearly what our design intent is. All right, so let's close it up. I want to ask you ladies a question. You got an audience; they're listening to you, and I'm going to kind of tell you that you're a hero to some people, right? You're a hero to Joe and I for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're a hero to some people. Just because you just did what you needed to do, and you had disciplines and you had the things. So what advice would you give our audience?
Buy the first note. Get in.
Do it.
Just do it. Get in. Have we made mistakes? Yes. Did we take longer to do something than we should have? Probably. Will we make more mistakes this coming year?
Yes.
Absolutely. But what I can tell you is hesitation doesn't work. Fixing the problem, fixing the thing that broke is what gives you confidence to do the next one.
Right.
And the next one and the next one. And I think that's what it is. Because when you get when you fix the problem, you're like, oh, well then we can do that. Let's buy another 2 next month or another 3 next month.
Yeah.
And that's really what it was. It just took us making the decision on that May of 2020. We're gonna click buy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that people just need to not be afraid. And also, I really encourage people. We talk to so many people that that don't take advantage of the classes, and this is a serious business,
right? And
if you're going to be serious about it, then you need to learn all you can. And you guys are providing so much information on a weekly basis. You need to go to class. You need to listen. You need to learn. You need to participate.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's key. That probably might even be more than buy the first note, is because we met a lot of people at Note Expo who were members and hadn't been on a class in 6 to 12 months.
And we just think that's crazy.
We're on 4 times a week. So.
Yeah.
Well, the coachable thing, obviously, to run a training business is, I don't care what you're training somebody to do, right? You got to be coachable, right? That's a commitment you bring to the table, and it makes our job fun, and it makes your success. So, Joe, wrap us up.
All right, Lois, Cindy, thank you so much for being on today. It is amazing to have you, and I look forward to seeing you again here very soon.
Yes.
And, guys, I had one of my, Dr. Bendal was one of he kind of got me into the note business and all of that. And I was arguing with him one day, and he said, Joe, you can be right or you can be rich, right? And I said, Dr. Ben, I get it, right? I'll go with it. So, guys, thanks again for being with us today on Note School TV. Yep. And listen, more information about what, Cindy and Lois have been able to accomplish and what we can accomplish and help you with. Guys, the journey starts with attending one of our one-day classes. And to find out more information about the one-day classes, simply go to noteschool.com/TV, and we will be happy to answer any questions, have somebody give you a call, whatever it is you need. We want to help you get and start on your journey to get into the note space. It's the first of the year. I know all of you have made New Year's resolutions, and so follow through with those and make sure that you go to a one-day class very soon. We'll see you all next week at 11:05 Central, as we do every week. And so, guys, we'll see you on the other side. Thanks so much.